Can you
Great.
just clarify what was sort of communicated to you from ownership or even with your own sort of philosophy when it comes to bringing back salary in a trade for Jakob Chychrun? Because I think a lot of us are curious how that whole thing worked out.
Well, a lot of the teams, I mean, when you're coming down the stretch and you're dealing with, championship teams or teams that are trying to get in the playoffs, obviously, they're pushing hard, with the salary. So, most teams it's money in, money out. So if you're dealing with a team, they're also, pushing money back your way. So, obviously you had to sort through all the deals and figure out the best value. We're still in the rebuild mode. And next year, we're still in that mold. So, there are opportunity for us next year to kind of take advantage of the market again. And obviously take back bad contracts as we've done in the previous 2 years. So if you take back money in contracts, that it can eat into that. So we're very aware of that, and this deal was probably the best deal for us in the ways that the pick lies and how high that pick could be, along with the other picks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go next to Kevin McGrath. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hey, Bill, appreciate you doing this. I wonder if you could sort of walk us through what the conversations were like when you trade players, this year and last year when it comes to Jakob in particular.
Well, Jakob was a first-class act. He had expressed his interest to move on to a club that was a contender. We were trying to do that in the trade. We had immense respect for the player and his wishes. At the same time, I've said this before, that we had to make sure that it was the best for the club. So in this particular case, when you have conversations with the player, you tell them, hey, listen, I understand your concerns. We're doing the best that we can. But Jakob was outstanding. We had good conversations the whole way through, and he gets a chance to go play in Ottawa and a chance to lead that team and help them get into the playoffs. It'll be a great challenge, and he's going to be a great add for that team.
Was in this particular case, you might have gotten more for him if you waited until the summer, but was the idea you really wanted to move him now? You didn't want this to drag on any longer for the players' benefit?
Yeah, I mean, you look at all times, like last year, we tried to move him before the deadline. We tried to move him during the year. We looked in the summer. So, we just look at different avenues and obviously different points in the schedule to do that, and try and see if you can, find a match. And we did that. So this for us was the right time to move him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Going next to Bruce Garriott. Go ahead, Bruce.
Hey, Bill, just a couple things from me.
Yep.
What finally got this deal over the finish line? And do you recall the first time you talked to Pierre Dorion about Jakob Chychrun? I feel like this has been going on for months, months.
Well, you this has been on the market for a while.
Yeah.
Since Jakob expressed it. So this is, he's a good player. So, every GM in the league checks in and says, hey, what is it, this deal and where you're at, and, and what's the ask, and it took us a while to kind of, I think, just get the ask right and get into the market, and understand it. And it was, with Jakob last year, he came back, he played, he got injured. This year he got through that, came back into the lineup. So there's a little bit of a process, a schedule for him. So when we were able to kind of move him and jump into that, we did that. But it has been an ongoing, probably almost a year and a bit, I guess, of talking to probably every GM in the league about Jakob.
Bill, just one other thing for me. When did Pierre kind of pick up the phone again? Was it last night or early today to kind of get these talks going again? Because I don't think there'd been any real discussions for a while, had there?
Pierre and I talk on a regular basis, like I do with most GMs. So it doesn't go very often. I mean, we both work both work the phones pretty hard. So you're always in contact, whether you talk about that or not. I think it's just an ongoing thing. I think, obviously, when you see that Zaitsev was moved, you see an opportunity for us to kind of restart the talks, and we did that slowly but surely and kind of gradually got into them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go next to John Morrell. Go ahead, John.
Thanks, Rich. Hi, Bill. Just looking from a bigger picture perspective, what's up with the GMs who usually wait till the last minute of the of any trade deadline or any deadline? And what's up with what do you figure just prompted all these moves happening so quickly and so early?
Well, we try to ruin the trade deadline shows. That's the biggest thing in Toronto. We just like to watch those guys talk about nothing for about 3 hours on the trade deadline day. So it's more or less, teams, I think it's weird because it started a lot. It's a great question because particularly this year, the calls started way earlier. And it just seemed to focus way before that. It seems like we've been at this for 3 hard weeks already. And I think it's just getting earlier. I don't know why that is, but I think teams want to get their player that they want. They want to get it situated, and they don't want to wait to the last moment to do so. So I do believe that there's a change in when GMs are negotiating. They're not waiting for the final day. They're pursuing that anywhere from 3 weeks out.
And just to follow up on that, did you consider, knowing you had a little bit more time and perhaps a little bit more leverage, could you have thought about waiting until tomorrow or Friday, even noon, to see what might be out there, or what made the timing right now?
Well, for us, we obviously have a plan, and you're like, okay, well, listen, this is, on this day and this day and that. And, sometimes you just get into it where you suggest a deal and you realize, hey, you're not that far off. And so, hey, this could make it happen. And sometimes it just moves along quicker, which this one in particular did. It moved along quicker. And we were able to kind of come to terms a lot quicker than most deals. But this one moved along pretty well.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions for Bill? If so, please raise your hand. Oh, Greg Wyshynski. Go ahead, Greg.
Thanks. Bill, I was just curious about sort of what the trade offer.
We lose.
Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I was curious about what sort of the trade offers you were getting looked like. I mean, obviously this one is picks coming back your way. Did you have the opportunity to secure blue chip prospects, or was your aim more to acquire draft capital here?
Our aim was more to acquire draft capital at this point. We've been in, as you've seen last year at the draft, we were able to walk out of the draft with 3 first-rounders and a host of other picks. And we were looking to do the same here. This will give us a chance for 2 fairly high picks in the draft in the first round. And you can really make some hay when you do that as an organization like we did last year. And we're looking to do it again this year. It also helps us plan out the rest of our rebuild and adding picks in 24 and in 26. So that just helps further stock our picks for future drafts.
Go next to Todd Walsh. Go ahead, Todd.
Bill, just obviously from Dallas here prior to this game, I'm curious what you think about how your team and the leadership group of that team has handled the last few days, and what you want to see from them in the next couple of days. A lot of the leadership has been a part of these deals, obviously. So what have you seen from this group at this point?
Well, we've got excellent leaders in the locker room. Our young guys continue to grow. Let's be honest, it's a very distracting time of the year. I mean, you look around the league, I mean, teams are very, very distracted. If you're on a top-notch team and you get a chance to win a championship, you're praying you don't get traded. So there's a lot of distraction going on. And sometimes if you're on the bottom team, you're hoping you do get traded. And sometimes it can be very distracting, not only for players, but also teammates. So and you need kind of good leadership to get through it. I thought last night as we played Chicago, our guys, they were very focused, and you could see that. And I thought Keller and Schmoltz just led by the way they played, along with Veggie and Net. So we look for our guys to kind of dig in, and it's going to be a battle against Dallas. And you can tell right away that, we've got some good leadership and some good upcoming leaders that are young players that have done a good job. in the last few days, and we'll continue to do a good job till this process gets done.
Are there any more questions for Bill? Patrick Brown, go ahead, Patrick.
Hey, Bill. Just wanted to ask you a little bit about the Shane Gostisbehere trade as well and how that materialized today. I know the big news is with Jakob, but just wanted to ask you what he brought to the team really the last 2 seasons and how that materialized today.
Well, Ghost has been excellent for us. I think it was a win-win for both sides. We took him on as in a bad contract, and we're able to kind of, take in a second pick to take him, and we didn't really know how good he could be. It seems like, Bear did, our coaching staff did an amazing job with him, just getting him refurbished, getting him his new game in order. And he was outstanding for us from the time he got here to the time he left, and we're able to get a 3rd round pick from him on his way out. So I think it was a win-win. I thought he got a lot better as a player, and he helped us win some games, and was really had a great effect on the young guys by his work ethic and his professionalism. So, now he's got a chance to go win a championship with Carolina. So we're very proud of him, and wish him the best.